Wow, man, what a day I have had. Let me tell you all about it, in the only way that an Aussie gamer would. Right, so this morning I woke up and I decided I was going to make my very own StarCraft. I went into the garage to start and I asked my wife to pass me the ratchet, and clank! She dropped it onto the floor and it broke into pieces. I didn't know what to do, so I went next door and asked my neighbour if I could borrow his power drill. He said, "I'll do one better and I'll help you build it because I have my very own StarCraft too." I said, "Geez, Larry, you're really going beyond the Call of Duty there, mate." So Larry and I walked back to my place and I said, "Mate, don't mind the mess, it's a bit of a battlefield in here." I plugged Larry's drill in and turned it on. The lights went out and the drill wouldn't work. The surge blew out my fuses and my day was starting out to be a bit of a mess. I asked Larry to stay with me while I fixed the power outage crisis because I didn't want to be alone in the dark. Well, anyway, long story short, we got everything sorted and back into the building, and when we were finished, the results were a far cry from what I would call a StarCraft. Well, I was pretty sure that this piece of junk wouldn't be able to transport me to any uncharted lands in any galaxy far, far away. It may not look like much, but I felt like this was my destiny. To fly into dead space and search for new life in the unknown. Hell, I was so keen that I'd settle for a Half-Life discovery. Well, I tried to take off, but I was overwhelmed with a sense of impending doom. So I called the launch off. Instead, I decided to make myself a cup of coffee and sit with my two sleeping dogs. My wife saw me and said, "Are you ever going to go to work or are you just a job simulator?" I said to her, "Get off my case, woman, just let me sit with Blood and Titan." Those are my two dogs. I said to my wife, "Why are you always putting me down?" And she replied, "Just cause." Larry came out to sit with me and said, "Wow, that's an old dog." I couldn't remember how old he was, so I asked my wife, "When was Blood born?" She said 1942, and I said, "Yeah, that was around the same time you were born, hey hun?" I quickly ran out the front door after that comment because I sure as hell wasn't sticking around for the fallout. I decided to go to my local pub and have a few beers and bust a move. When I was at the pub, I met a guy named Bo. He told me he was a dog minder. I was amazed that people would get paid all day to watch dogs. Seeing as though Bo was interested in dogs, I told him about the time that my dog climbed on top of my carport and jumped off. He asked me, "How far did Titan fall?" I told him I wasn't sure because I'm bad at maths and I'm hopeless with division. It started to get a bit rowdy in the pub after a drunk guy ran at us and tried to Rambo. Larry and I walked out of the pub after everyone else was kicked out, so I told the bouncer at the front door that we were the last of us, so he could close the door behind us. Heavy rain started pissing down, and I stepped in a puddle on the way home. It ruined my favourite shoes. You know, the ones with the dark soles? It was pouring so damn hard, I noticed Larry's clothes changing colour. I said, "The rain has wrecked your leisure suit, Larry." He wasn't impressed. Well, I'd had enough by the time I got home. Larry left and I gave up for the day. Time to relax. Play some video games or two. Cheers, talk to you next time.